Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Moss Valley Let's Play with me, Strategy Simulation Samurai. Thank you for coming back to Let's Play episode number 2. You'll notice I'm down here at Moss Valley Tractors, which is the vehicle hub. I will point out this horse feed will get used at some point, but what I forgot was that I didn't know how big the horse barn was and how much food it was going to take, and apparently that wasn't as much as I anticipated. So that has meant that this horse feed has just been left here, but it will be picked up at some point during the game. I have now purchased a nice new vehicle. So I borrowed some money from the bank because I thought, well, actually we could probably do with getting around and about, but we'll be able to pay that money off pretty quickly. We're at a loan of about £25,000, I think, so that will get paid off pretty quickly. So why are we here? Well, today we're going to do some contract work. So we started with nothing, or very little. We've currently got £1,381 in the bank. We have a loan of £15,000, so it will get paid off even quicker. So we have a loan of £15,000. We do have some generators in, like I said before, the wind turbines and the single the single photovoltaic, which is in at our place at the moment. But what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at some contracting. Now, fertilizing is by far the better contract you can go for, purely based on two things. One, reasonable income. Two, so quick to do. So much quicker than pretty much anything else that you can possibly do on the game. Followed by things like spraying, seeding, and then you're sort of moving on to like ploughing, harvesting, weeding. I don't know, actually, I've not really tried it, so maybe we'll try that in a little bit. But yeah, so we're going to do some fertilizing contracts. Now, we don't have any items and any equipment, so we're going to buy some. We're going to borrow some even. So the way that I do it is I look at the items that are available. Here we've got two different types. So we've got the fertilizer truck, we've got the fertilizer attachment, really and truly. And that's the one we're going to go for because the spread for this is 42 meters and the spread for this is about 25-ish, depending on whether it's got the spreaders on or not, the spreading discs on or not. So we're going to go with this one. We then, well, for me, I then look at, right, okay, what have we got next? So we've got two tractors that are fairly similar, weights are fairly similar. However, this one is going to cost me less in terms of my lease equipment. So let's go for that. So £224, we are going to borrow the items for field 14, but then we're going to go back down and we're going to go yes please to field 61 and yes please to field 62, and they're the contracts that we're going to go for fulfill to begin with. But first of all, of course, what we will need is to fill up our fertilizer itself. I think that will do. Oh, of course, I'm going to have to borrow some money from the bank again because I haven't quite got enough. So let's go with another 10,000, take that up to £25,000, go back into the shop, and we will buy 3 bags now because we'll have enough. We can fetch those from the store. Not quite sure where they've gone. I haven't actually done this yet. But we'll link that up. I'm going to imagine... Oh, there they are, there in front. Okay. I'll stick the weight on the front there. And we'll put the fertilizer in. I'll bring up the map. So we're going to go to, like I say, field 61 and 62, which are not actually too difficult to get to. Some of these fields are not the easiest to get to. These ones not too bad. 61 and 62, right, 93% full, so we're going to head off. Now there really isn't much in terms of traffic along here, so we don't have to worry about traffic too much. What we do have to worry about is the fact that if you're not in this view, it can become really difficult to see anything. And of course, this tractor decided that, you know, why not stick big, massive double tyres on for a really small lane? So we're going to head all the way down this road past the garden centre here. So just on the right hand side there, the garden centre. And as we come down here, I'm sure this one down here, like I said, is called Povey Farm. We'll double check as we come through. I think the first one that we passed is counted as Hazelhurst Farm, which is where all the greenhouses are. I think this main one is oh, hello. Oh, we got a crash already. See, this is why you don't want the big tyres on a map like this, but never mind. Sorry, I wasn't concentrating. I'm sure this one here, yes, Povey Farm? Yes, Povey Farm. So, one thing I like about this map is we've reached Povey Farm, and this is very, very much in keeping with, and I think Mr. CDP said this on his tour, very much in keeping with tradition in the UK. You see, the road stops there, and then you hit what is then somebody's farm. So you're allowed to drive through it, but you're certainly not allowed to cause any damage, and you're certainly not allowed to block access or anything like that. And you have to drive through the farm back out onto the road. Now, the good thing, I guess, about the map is when I said about the real life map, where we've just come through, that Povey Farm, is actually the end of the road in real life. So I quite like the fact that they've decided to make that a sort of end of the road, but you can still continue in the game. I think that's quite clever. So 61 and 62, we go down here. Like I said in the last episode, all the brown roads are tracks like this. All of the white roads are sort of main paved roads. I mean, they're all lanes, quite frankly, aren't they? Let's face it, none of them are big. But yeah, they're just sort of different types of roads. So field 62 should be directly in front of us. So I think we'll do that one first, as the gate is just there. How lovely. I'm gonna hop out. I'll wait for that to open up. And in we go. Field 62. Turn on the fertilizer. And away we roll. So what's this getting us? Let's have a look at this contract on field 62. We are getting 3,600 for this. So I'm hoping by the end of our time here, doing these few contracts, we will almost, because there are still another few to pick up, we'll almost be in a position where we can pay all of the funding back that we borrowed from the bank, and we'll be able to move on to where we are next, and our next plans. So that's contract on field 62 complete. Head back down towards the gate. And we'll go and find field 61. Close this. Keep the farmer happy. There we go. So that's field 62 complete. Field 61 now will be coming up on the right hand side. Just here. So once you get your head around this map, just to begin with, it's a little bit confusing, a little bit, where is everything and how do I get about? I mean, the one good thing, well, not the one good thing, there's lots of good things, but the good thing is, if you do get a little bit lost, it's not the end of the world. You can cut through the fields, you can cut through the bushes. Don't try and cut through the fences or the woodland, that will block you off, but you can cut through some of the fields by going through the bushes. So if you do get a bit stuck and you're a bit strapped for time and you think, I'm a bit lost, yes, okay, it takes away the realism of the gameplay, but there is that opportunity just to shoot straight through a bush and get yourself back on track. And as you can see, this is why I quite like this particular fertilizer. The only downside about it is it carries sort of, I think it's 3,600 litres, so it's not the biggest fertilizer capacity, but it does spray 42 metres at a time. So although you do have to potentially go back and fill it up a couple of times if you've got like a few big fields or what have you, the time it takes to actually spread it is fairly quick, especially in comparison to the other one that I showed you, which was, I think it's 18 to 30 maybe meters wide. 30 you pay an extra money having the spreading discs and things like that on, whereas this fertilizer is machined. It's pretty cheap in comparison. It does things pretty quickly. Like I say, the only downside is you do have to refill it on a regular basis, but as you can see, we are coming up to, probably I'd say we're about halfway through this field. We've already done one decent sized field. This is obviously a bigger field, and we've only used sort of coming up to 1200, about 1200, 1300 litres since we started. So yes, it needs refilling quicker, but in the grand scheme of things, it really isn't that bad at all. Well, that, ladies and gentlemen, is field 61 complete. So we'll head back out the gate, which is over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get on the phone. In fact, before I do that. I'm just going to park up here. I'm going to get on the phone. I'm going to see what other contracts we've got available. So we haven't done field 14 yet, but that's fine. We're going to claim these two, so we're going to collect field 61 and 62's income. We're going to go down to fertilizing. We're going to identify if there's any others. So we've got fields 76, 22 and 3. Let's have a look on the map. 76 is at the bottom right at the end of this track. 22 is sort of... Ooh, where is 22? I've lost 22. So 22 is right on the other side of the map, so that's going to take a little bit of time to get to. And field 3 is up by home. So I think that's the order that we're going to play it in. So we're going to go field 76, field 22, and then we're going to come back around to field 3 and 14 if they're still available. Obviously 14 will be, 3 may not be at the time, but that's okay. So we're going to pick up field 22, accept that one, and field 76. So you're going to get a nice feel for the map. But for now, as I say, I'm keeping these nice and short and sweet, but please come back to the next episode on Moss Valley Farm with me, Strategy Simulation Samurai. But for now, after we've done a few contracts, we've got £16,500 in the bank. I'm going to pay off a little bit of that loan and take that down to a £10,000 loan, and I will see you on the next episode. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.